Mark Denham on Atom Radio.
Episode 65 of the Atom Radio Drive Time podcast. Hello, I hope you are very, very well as you check this out on whatever you're checking it out on your iPhone, your Android, or on your computer, however you're listening. Thank you so much. It does mean the world. Episode 65 contains the awfully British bucket list. We found that and discussed it. Winning at shopping top trumps, trick or treat etiquette, rude old people. They can be, can't they? The nicest way to describe diarrhea, and an idiot on his driving test, and rats.
Atom Radio, ooh yeah, playing the music you want to hear.
Mark Denham.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
It is 5:20. Brain teaser coming up for you. But first, on Twitter, hashtag awfully British bucket list was trending as Brits shared aspirations on their bucket list. Now, some of these were as simple as owning a functioning umbrella. Others wanted to see cheese and onion crisps in green packets where they belong. One man is dreaming of the end of the DFS sale. Allied Carpets used to be like that, didn't they? Sale now on. And I'm just thinking, when did you ever have a sale that wasn't on? Others want an end to queuing in Primark. There are loads of things on here. A whole day without mentioning the weather. I mean, they're brilliant, aren't they? Some of the best ones, though, are the functioning umbrella, making it through a tube journey without having to apologise to anyone. You see, as British people, we're good at apologising. Sorry. Claire Taylor, to go a whole day when something that is dominating the news right now isn't mentioned. I did say I wouldn't mention it on this show, and I won't, but you know what I'm saying. Running out of ways to say thank you as the person in front of you holds several doors in succession open for you, live in a Midsummer's Murders village and survive, to get Snickers changed back to Marathon and Starburst to Opal Fruits. Do you know what? If somebody offers me one of those, I'll always say, an Opal Fruit, because that's how I see them as well. Wear a coat indoors and not feel the benefit when I go outside later, to expose the identity of the unexpected item in bagging area. Some of these are absolutely brilliant, aren't they? I can't believe it's not butter. Somebody has shared a picture of that with the caption, I want to believe it's not butter. We've done the cheese and onion ones, haven't we? To go a day without this face to passers-by because smiling publicly will make me look like a maniac. Oh, dear. And then on the... this is great, this one. I love this one. On the hashtag awfully British bucket list, somebody has put up a picture of Patricia Routledge as Hyacinth Bouquet, and it says, to meet Mrs. Bucket. Yeah, do you know what? If you are having a bucket list, you may as well meet Mrs. Bucket. Finally, the Jubilee line on Twitter. My bucket list. Number 1, buy buckets. Number 2, buy wine. Number 3, fill bucket with wine. Number 4, drink buckets. Fair enough.
Yeah! Mark Denham.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
This is Atom Radio online at atomradio.co.uk, on TuneIn, on iTunes Radio, and your smart speaker as well. I must tell you something that happened to me, right? This will have happened to you, I'm sure, as well. I went to Iceland today, which is a UK supermarket, and all I wanted was a packet of ice buns, all right? So one item. I get my item, and I'm standing there in the queue holding my one item, and this lady behind says to me, excuse me, would you mind if I went in front? I've only got a basket, and you've got so much. I've got one item. I've got a basket full. But it does happen, doesn't it? I mean, like people, I've seen people behind me when I've had a trolley queuing with a basket with a couple of items in. And I'll say, do you want to go in front? This, that, and the other. But I would never actually ask, excuse me, do you mind if I could go in front? Especially not when the person in front has only got one item.
Drive Time with Mark Denham.
I'm reading a news headline. How the Queen stays looking youthful at 93. I have nothing against the Queen at all. But that's a bit of clickbait, isn't it? Like, no disrespect at all. But no 93-year-old looks youthful. They may look younger than their age, but youthful is looking like, say, 18. Well, even that's adulthood, isn't it? Youthful, maybe 13 or 14. I don't know why you'd want to look like that, but that's youthful though, isn't it? Like 93 is not youthful.
Mark Denham with Drive Time.
Tuesday's drive time, if you are listening in England, be proud. Despite our gloomy weather here in England, we have been named the world's second best tourist destination in 2020. Timeless treasures, including picturesque villages, verdant rolling hills, put it behind only the Himalayan kingdom of Bhutan on the Lonely Planets list of places to visit next year. So there we are. We are second in the list. Now, there was a thing last week, wasn't there, going around the internet from a thing that Piers Morgan did about the snowflake generation. And apologies if that offends you, but you know who you are. Anyway, he was saying, like, you know, we kind of set people up to be that, though, don't we? Because we don't allow people to lose. You get a participation medal and stuff like that. So congratulations on to England on becoming the first loser, i.e. the runner-up. Well done.
Drive Time with Mark Denham.
Tuesday, October 22nd, which means Halloween is coming as well. Your chance to trick and treat and all that. I don't have a problem with trick or treat. A lot of people do. But I tell you what does annoy me, right? If you get children who come round and they come and knock the door while their parents stand at the end of the drive, that's fine. You know, they're all there in their Halloween fancy dress and they knock the door, trick or treat. That's fine. But when you get, like, you know, teenagers who are like 15, 16, not bothered dressing up and they just come round, trick or treat, jog on. It's not for you, is it? You've made no effort, go away.
Mark Denham.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
You know the quaint image of the sweet old lady? I went shopping this morning and a lady was coming out. She didn't have any bags with her or anything. No bags, no shopping, no trolley, no nothing, no basket. And she's coming out and I thought, well, I'll just be polite and let her go through the door first. So I stand to the side of the door, let her go through. And in return for that, she then gives me a dirty look and tuts at me. And I'm thinking, that's not very nice, is it? It's not very nice. And this, the day after it's revealed that an elderly couple refused on a train to move out of a pregnant woman's reserved seats. So there you are. Hello to you if you are old today. Please don't become old and miserable. Or if you are old, don't be old and miserable. Keep up the image of those sweet, lovely old people. Go on.
Mark Denham with Drive Time.
Mark with you until 7 o'clock tonight. What is the nicest way you have ever heard diarrhea described? All right, at some point in time, we've either had or we are going to get diarrhea. It's one of those avoidable things, isn't it, in life? This is the best way I've ever heard it described. A plane load of passengers was held after the plane was hit by diarrhea. They were coming from a hotel, and one of the people on the plane has described it as, all right, this is the nicest thing I've ever heard about diarrhea. Their intestines came crashing down in the typhoon of sweet corn and sewage. I mean, that's just the nicest way I've ever heard it described.
Drive Time with Mark Denham.
Keep it a secret. Or answers on a postcard, whichever you prefer. Do people still do that? Answers on a postcard? I don't think anyone ever does that now, do they? Like, in the old days, like when there was a competition on TV, you had a whole week to enter, didn't you? Because you had to send your answer in on a postcard, didn't you? Or on the back of an envelope. That was another one, wasn't it? Same on the radio, wasn't it? You know, you could write in with your answer. Write in now on the back of a postcard. People don't do that now, do they?
Mark Denham.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Halloween week coming up. Do you know what? Like, shops are full of Christmas stuff already. TVs are full of Christmas adverts as well. But it's Halloween trick-or-treating next Thursday, a week from yesterday. So I bet the shops this weekend will be full of mums and dads out buying trick-or-treat costumes. You know, the old Halloween fancy dress for this week. And those that aren't buying that will be out buying little bags of sweets to give away. Although the kids aren't interested in that now, are they? Sorry, can we take the money instead? Who said the magic's gone out of Halloween?
Atom Radio. Drive Time with Mark Denham.
Getting ready for the weekend. A man has failed his driving test for the 10th time. That and it's, I mean, how? How can you be that bad at driving that you fail 10 times? However, the man drove to his driving test unsupervised in the car. I won't say in his car, in the car. Failed his driving test and then got nicked for driving without a license. And you'll love this. Taking without consent. He's turned up to do his driving test, driving himself there in a stolen car. What an idiot. No wonder he's failed 10 times.
Drive Time with Mark Denham.
Scientists have not taught this species to build Titanics, but what they've done, you ready for this? Researchers have taught rats to drive tiny little cars in order to receive treats in a study which could help scientists understand how learning skills affect the human mind and stress levels. I think it's great that these rats can drive little cars. They've learned how to drive. I mean, do they have little L plates on their cars? And then when they pass the test, they get little P plates. Rats that were housed in an enriched environment designed to stimulate them with ladders and toys were able to learn better than a control group in normal rat housing. Professor Kelly Lambert at the University of Richmond, Virginia, said the study bears a lot of relevance for the way the human mind works too. And they have these little rats in their little cars. I think that's brilliant. You know, people say, oh, it's so horrible, you know, like experimenting on rats and stuff like that. But I think, you know, if you're a rat and you can learn to drive, how much more can you ask for out of life?
atomradio.co.uk.
Isn't that amazing? Those little rats are so clever that they can actually learn to drive. It doesn't say whether they can learn the highway code or anything, and it doesn't mention in any way whatsoever the theory test. So I don't know how clever they are, but they can actually learn to drive. Well done, Roland Rats. And what about that fantastic way of describing diarrhea as well? I mean, it's one of the most unpleasant things you can have, isn't it? And just the way that it was described. Brilliant. Episode 65 of the Atom Radio Best Bits of Drive Time podcast is now a wrap. That is it. Thank you so much for your company. Make sure you subscribe. Find it on iTunes, on Google, and on Spotify as well. And episode 66, you'll have a little bit of a wait for that because I've got next week off because it is half term in the UK. So episode 66 will be the best bits, not of next week's drive time, but of the week after's drive time. So thank you for your company on episode 65. Do the right thing. Go subscribe, and I'll catch you in a couple of weeks' time with episode 66 back on the radio on the 4th of November at 3 o'clock on atomradio.co.uk. I'll see you then. Enjoy your half term.
Atom Radio. Ooh, yeah. Playing the music you want to hear.
Mark Denham.
atomradio.co.uk.